yamunatiravanachari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jayo Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamunatiravanachari Yamunatiravanachari Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Jai Guru Deva. Jai Jai Gurudev, 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 Jai Jai Gurudev, Gurudev, Gurudev. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhamsa Pravajagacharya Astota Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda Ki Jai. ISKCON Founder Charger His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. BBT Founder Charger His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Primshika Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shadwaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopinath Radha Kun Shama Kun Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Shri Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Shri Navdev Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Yamuna Mai Ki Jai. Tulasi Devi Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Hari Nam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Sankirtan Yagya Ki Jai. Brihad Murdanga Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Om Jnana Timirantasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chaksuram Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagarjatam Sagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gourangi Radhe Vrindavaneshware Vrishabhanu Sute Deve Pranamami Hare Priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Mukham karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yat kripatamaham vande Shri Gurum dinatarinam paramananda madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna, welcome everyone to today's ecstatic study of Srimad Bhagavatam. I hereby begging for all your blessings, so I can serve Srimad Bhagavatam and all the assembled Vaishnavas, Vaishnavis properly. Hare Krishna. So today we are going to read Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 17. This chapter is entitled Punishment and Reward of Kali. Today we are going to read Shloka number 40. Please repeat after me. Amūni pañca sthānāni adharma-prabhavaḥ kaliḥ auttareyeṇa dattāni nyavasat tan-nideśa-kṛt amūni pañca sthānāni adharma-prabhavaḥ kaliḥ auttareyeṇa dattāni nyavasat tan-nideśa-kṛt amūni pañca sthānāni adharma-prabhavaḥ kaliḥ auttareyeṇa dattāni nyavasat tan-nideśa-kṛt. Amūni pañca sthānāni adharma-prabhavaḥ kaliḥ auttareyeṇa dattāni nyavasat tan-nideśa-kṛt. Amūni pañca sthānāni adharma-prabhavaḥ kaliḥ auttareyeṇa dattāni nyavasat tan-nideśa-kṛt. Amūni pañca sthānāni adharma-prabhavaḥ kaliḥ auttareyeṇa dattāni nyavasat tan-nideśa-kṛt. Amūni pañca sthānāni adharma-prabhavaḥ kaliḥ auttareyeṇa dattāni nyavasat tan-nideśa-kṛt. Amūni pañca sthānāni adharma-prabhavaḥ kaliḥ auttareyeṇa dattāni nyavasat tan-nideśa-kṛt. Amūni pañca sthānāni adharma-prabhavaḥ kaliḥ auttareyeṇa dattāni nyavasat tan-nideśa-kṛt. Word for word. Amūni, all those. Pañca, 5. Sthānāni, places. He, certainly. Adharma, irreligious principles. Prabhava, encouraging. Kali, the age of Kali. Auttareyeṇa, by the son of Uttarā. Dattāni, delivered. Nyavasat, dwelt. Taught by him. Tan-nideśa-kṛt, directed. Translation Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Thus the personality of Kali, by the directions of Mahārāja Parīkṣit, the son of Uttarā, was allowed to live in those 5 places. Please repeat after me. Thus the personality of Kali, by the directions of Mahārāja Parīkṣit, the son of Uttarā, was allowed to live in those 5 places. Srila Prabhupada's Purport. Thus the age of Kali began with gold standardization, and therefore falsity, intoxication, animal slaughter, and prostitution are rampant all over the world. And the saner section is eager to drive out corruption. The counteracting process is suggested above, and everyone can take advantage of these suggestions. Hare Krishna. First of all, we can look the section of this chapter. This chapter can be divided into 3 sections. The first section is from Shloka 1 up to 19. So it's talking about Mahārāja Parīkṣit encountering Kali. And then the second section from Shloka 19 up to 28. In this section, there is a conversation between the bull, the symbol of Dharma, and Parīkṣit Maharaj. They were talking about who is the cause of their suffering, the bull and the cow, the Dharma and the earth. And then Parīkṣit Maharaj tries to console the bull. That also means the Dharma. And then in the last section, from 29 up to 45, this last section is Parīkṣit Maharaj. He's awarding Kali. And very interesting, in the previous shloka, in the shloka 39, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he's famous for giving dialogue to present, to reveal the inner mood of the lords and the devotees and the incident. So in Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary to the previous verse, he's talking in the tone of Kali. He said, "O king, because Parīkṣit Maharaj appointed 5 places. Actually, at the beginning, it's only 4 places for him to stay. That is the places breaking the 4 regulative principles. And then he said, 'O king, if you're doing like this, actually I have no place to stay. How can I stay?' And then Parīkṣit Maharaj mentioned, 'Okay, I give you another place. That is a place where there is gold.' And Kali is little happy. Actually, Parīkṣit Maharaj is trying to cheat Kali, because under his rule, nobody is violating all these principles. But he gave him a place where there is a gold, so he can stay. And then Kali said, this is very important. In Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's tomb, Kali said, "First I have to enter their minds." That means in this age of Kali, the Kali's personification of Kali already entered our minds. So maybe we're thinking, oh, this verse is not relevant to us because we're devotees. This is only talking about those karmis and non-devotees. They are breaking all the regulative principles. They're eating meat, fish, and eggs, then they're gambling, they're taking intoxicants, and they're having illicit sex. This has nothing to do with me. I have already took initiation, and I'm following the 4 regulative principles nicely. what this has to do with me. But actually not. The kaliḥ, he has already entered into our minds. So in today's discussion, we will talk about some general phenomenon from a social level. And then we are going to specify what the personification of kaliḥ is influencing us, especially the practicing devotees. And we're going to quote some famous quotes from Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. I'm sure you will find it's very interesting. So once there's a devotee asking Srila Prabhupada about this verse, because here, at the beginning of this verse, it is mentioned, amūni pañca sthānāni. Amūni, all those pañca, 5 sthānāni places. Both Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Srila Jiva Goswami in his Krama Sandarbha, that is his commentary on every verse, every chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, they both mentioned the grammar in this shloka. Both of them, they mentioned here, this shloka, especially at the first line, although it's mentioned places, it's using the accusative case. And sometimes people use locative case. Why is it specified here? Because this is the places where kaliḥ is residing. And here, in Srila Jiva Goswami's commentary, he especially mentioned kaliḥ has taken residence in these 5 places. So this is an alert for all of us. Kaliḥ has taken his residence in all these 5 places. And these 5 places has its gross form and also has its subtle form. It even exists in our minds. That's why we're all influenced by kaliḥ. So once in the morning walk, one devotee is asking Srila Prabhupada. He mentioned the first line in the purport. He said, thus the age of kaliḥ began with gold standardization. And he's asking Prabhupada, now the society is like this. So how can we curb those rascals? Because nowadays, the newspapers and the government, they are saying the main problem of our society now is inflation. I think we all have experience about this. I still remember when I was taking Bhakti Sastri back in 2004, the coconut is only 5 rupees, big piece. Now if you want to buy only water, it costs sometimes 50 rupees. On festivals, even that is not available. And also Srila Prabhupada, he mentioned when he was a child, he saw his mother was buying golden ornaments. It's completely pure gold. Pure gold, how much is that? Srila Prabhupada said, only 20 rupees, 1 tola. So in India and Pakistan, the measurement, the weight of tola is a little bit different. In Pakistan, it's a little bit more than 12 grams. But in India, traditionally, 1 tola is 11.66 grams. That means in Prabhupada's childhood times, you can buy 1 pair of golden earrings in only 20 rupees. But nowadays, we cannot afford that. Even the plastic things, the imitation things cost more than 200 rupees. And Prabhupada, when he was giving this class to the devotees in America, in Los Angeles, 1973 or 1974, December 13th, he told the devotees, now the gold price is like 600, 700 rupees per tola. And what is about the price now? It's several thousands. And that is also going up. So Prabhupada said, the main problem, how to deal with that, only our Krishna consciousness movement has a practical solution. Prabhupada's solution is very simple. He said, chant Hare Krishna. Because the more we chant Hare Krishna, the whole atmosphere would be more purified. And the devotees, they're mentioning more like evil side of the society. A devotee said, oh, now the smallest diminution, that means the smallest coin, like 1 penny. They used to make coins by copper, but then because the copper is also becoming very expensive, so nowadays they use aluminum to make coins. A few days ago in Bangalore, Japataka Maharaj is giving a class. on Panihati festival. So he mentioned before, even one paisa, you can buy all the necessities, all the food to maintain your whole family for a whole day. And he said, I have seen 1 paisa. Have you ever seen 1 paisa? Now the paisa is not even available. You cannot buy anything for 1 paisa. Even for 1 rupee, you cannot buy anything. So that is the inflation. And there is an investigation on the internet. It says in America, their big problem, one of the biggest problem is their debt. How much debt they have? Up to May this year, 2022, Americans' debt is up to more than 30 trillion US dollars. It is 2.3 trillions more than last year. Maybe we don't have an idea how much is 1 trillion. So simply to give all of us an idea, 1 trillion is 1 followed by 12 zeros. And if we feel this is still very abstract, then we can give another example. If we use $1 bill, put it here, and then we stack another $1 bill on top of this one, and then one by one, we just stack all the $1 bills. For 1 trillion US dollars, how much is that? It is total 68,000 miles. And if we change it into kilometers, it's 109,400 kilometers. How much is distance from the Earth to the Moon? According to the modern scientists, the distance sometimes is less, sometimes is very much, but on average is more than 30 trillions. So that means 1 trillion US dollar bills would be occupying the space of 1/3 the distance from the Earth to the Moon. And how much is the debt? The debt is more than 30 trillions. So it's like the full distance from the Earth to the Moon, the full distance, and you have to multiply into 10 times. But nowadays people become more cheating. Srila Prabhupada said, now they don't even use paper. Paper is actually cheating. Actually, the most valuable metal is gold. That's why before people, they are trading by gold or silver, these valuable metals. And like 1 small piece of gold is like equal to 200 US dollars. But if you use iron, then you have to take, Srila Prabhupada said, you have to take a busload of that much iron. So you can equal that much value to 200 US dollars. But nowadays they even use plastic cards. But now we become more advanced. We don't even plastic cards. We just scan. There's not even a cost for plastic. We use our mobiles to scan. Some places even more advanced, we use our face to scan. So we can just consume. Then we become indebted. And our face is scanned. And we have to pay installments. We got nothing. And this is being encouraged. Before, in the previous ages, like even the Shudras, they can wear golden ornaments. But nowadays, even the most rich families, it's not possible they use everything in gold. Most of the things we're using is plastics. So Srila Prabhupada, he was joking when he was talking with devotees. He said, so otherwise we use cement to make coins, to make money. Because the government, they can legislate everything. To make it lawful, we just pass a law. Okay, this is cement. We print cement money. But what is this? And Prabhupada mentioned, so slowly, people become more degraded. And nowadays, sometimes we have to pay black price to get sugar, rice, wheat, fruits, milk. He said the day would come, the time would come, even if you pay black price, even if you pay black money, you cannot get anything. There's no sugar, no rice, no wheat, no fruits, and no milk. And then when all these things are not available, what people they would eat? They eat mangsho, they eat meat, they eat roots, and then there will be human shops. So right after the beef shops, there will be human shops. They are selling the flesh of human beings. Prabhupada said people would kill their sons and they would eat them. And he said that would be coming. Nowadays we are already feeling so much afflicted by the pains of this Kali Yuga. But please remember, this is only the beginning of Kali Yuga. Think about, what about the end of Kali Yuga? What's going to happen? What we are going to eat? People's longevity is being reduced more and more. The natural environment becomes worse and worse. Because when Dharma is destroyed, then the earth stops giving her supply. That's why we can find out sometimes we are taking some vegetables, some fruits. We are feeling when in our childhood, these things are more tasty, more juicy. And even some old people, they have more strength than the younger generation. Why is that? Because Mother Earth is withdrawing all her natural supplies because people are not honest. So Srila Prabhupada said, we have to make people become honest. And in this way, everything can be adjusted. And there is a very interesting conversation in 1970 for January 22 to 23, when Prabhupada was in Mayapur here. He was doing his morning walk. And that time, Japataka Maharaj, he mentioned to Srila Prabhupada, he said, there is one publication called the Bombay Illustrated Weekly. So on this publication, it is mentioned nowadays even the prostitutes. Please remember, this has happened in the 70s. And he said to Srila Prabhupada, he said, nowadays even the prostitutes, they're complaining because people are not going to them. They have difficulty, they cannot make any money. Because the free women are available everywhere. And then Srila Prabhupada, he's commenting, he said, yes, now everyone is a prostitute. Not only women can become prostitute, men can also become prostitute. If you don't believe me, you can refer to Srimad Bhagavatam. There's one purport in Canto 1, Chapter 5, verse 10. At the end of the purport, Srila Prabhupada said, according to Sridhar Swami, the social literary man, scientists, mundane poets, theoretical philosophers and politicians, they are completely absorbed in material advancement of sense pleasure. And this kind of sense pleasure is the subject matter completely should be rejected. But if we are interested in this kind of subject matter, and then what we are compared to? We are compared to prostitute hunters. So my dear devotees, I have some Bhakti Sastri students. Sometimes we are also discussing about this point. Because the devotees, they also sometimes in the excuse of relaxation, they would take resort to mundane novels, fictions. They want to relax their mind. But according to Srila Prabhupada, quoting from Sridhar Swami, this is equal to prostitute hunting. We become doing prostitution. This is a very serious warning. Whenever we are indulged our mind in reading the mundane literature, poets, we may think it's so great, but actually we are doing prostitution, either man or woman. And then what is our hope? In the purport, Srila Prabhupada said, the sinner section is eager to drive out corruption. The countering process is suggested above, and everyone can take advantage of this suggestion. In Sri Bhakti Aloka, that is Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur's commentary to Srila Rupa Goswami's Upadeshamrita's 2 shloka, number 2 and number 3, the 6 items unfavorable for devotional service, and the 6 items favorable for devotional service. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur mentions especially 2 points. We as our practicing devotees, we can learn from this. One is atyahara and another one is prayasas. So especially atyahara. Ati means much, and ahara means overeating or over-accumulating. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur especially mentions, actually in Upadeshamrita, the first shloka, also mentioning the urge of the tongue. He said in the first shloka, the urge of the tongue refers to the tongue likes to taste good foodstuffs. And then in the second shloka, atyahara, it refers to we like to accumulate more than we need. And usually we are not very careful of what we are accumulating to. Here mentions two kinds of devotees. One kind of devotee is taking Krishna as a limb, as a part, as a branch of his own sense gratification. And another type of devotee is taking Krishna as a center of his sense gratification. This is something we should avoid. So maybe you would have a doubt in your mind. What is the difference between these two kinds of devotees? The devotees taking Krishna as a limb, as a branch, as a part of their sense gratification, and the devotees who are putting Krishna in the center of their sense gratification. Okay, we can now have a detailed discussion. Given very simple example, sometimes, especially the ladies, they came to temple. There is a phenomenon that we can notice, especially in Sunday Arti time, more devotees are coming, more people are coming to temple. Then for the morning darshan. How we know about this? Because sometimes we need to book prasadam. So the kitchen, like Sulabh kitchen, Annadan, these are suggesting us, don't distribute in the morning, you distribute in the evening. More people are coming. Why they're coming? Some of them, they're coming to the temple simply to show off their new dresses, the new saris, new gopi dress, their new makeups, and they're attracting other people's attention on them. Thus they feel very much satisfied. So this is an example. They're using Krishna as part of their sense gratification. We can give many examples like this. But another kind of devotee, they are putting Krishna in the center of their sense gratification. It is said in the Sastras, this kind of devotee is better than the previous one. How we put Krishna in the center of our sense gratification? Most of the new devotees are like that. For example, we like to eat very palatable food. But then we are thinking, in Bhagavad Gita it is mentioned, if we eat only for our own sense gratifications, we're eating only sin. So we cannot do that. Now what to do? We are by force. We have to offer to Krishna. We ask Krishna to sanctify our food. So now we can enjoy. But this is the beginning of our devotional service. It's better than not offering. So we try to enjoy, but at least we're trying to put Krishna in the center of our enjoyment. We always remember Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this way is a little better than you are trying to enjoy Krishna. Sometimes one devotee told me, she said, I need to rent a big house, but I have been praying to my Jagannath deities for 3 days, and still I didn't get any proper information. I'm still squeezed in my little room. So I decided I will punish the deities. I decided 1 week I'm not going to offer anything. And then, so we are trying to use Krishna. This is something, if we want to do, it's like a horrible things. This is some material samskar, but we carried it into our devotional service. At least we should try to think like this. I want to enjoy a big house, but at least I'm thinking if I get a big house with marble floor, with maid servants, then I can put Krishna's altar in the best place of my house, and I can invite the devotees to come for Sangha. At least we should think like that. And then what we should do to all the sense objects. What is our proper attitude towards the sense objects? The proper attitude towards all the sense objects is to take everything as Krishna's mercy. And recently I mentioned this to my Bhakti Sastri students, and one student, out of context, so he's preaching everywhere, he said, now we understood. Everything, all the sense objects is Krishna's mercy, so we can enjoy. But that is also not right. If we are taking everything for our own enjoyment, then that is also one kind of atyahara. Instead, we should think everything is Krishna's mercy, and we should engage everything in the service of Krishna. In this way, yukta vairagya can be easily attained. So gradually we can perform pure devotional service. And there's a very interesting paragraph in Krishna's book. Prabhupada, in Krishna book, chapter 27, actually the numbers corresponding with Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 27. The chapter is talking about Krishna is delivering the wives of the Brahmanas who are performing sacrifices. The Brahmanas, they themselves, they are doing karma kanda, fire sacrifices. They want to elevate themselves to the heavenly planets. But their wives, they got Krishna's mercy. And how? It is mentioned their attitude toward Krishna. They see Krishna is the center of everything. They saw everything is the expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And please listen to the following sentence. It's very, very interesting and very inspiring. Srila Prabhupada said, our life, our house, our home, our children, our wife, all the paraphernalias, everything which is dear to us is actually the expansions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Krishna, He is the center of all loving objects. Just in order to take care of us, He is expanding Himself in different ways according to our different situations. According to our different situations, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is expanding Himself in various ways. And He is expanding Himself physically, means bodily. And He is expanding Himself mentally, psychologically. And He is expanding Himself spiritually, simply to make us happy. Whenever we think about this, we think, oh, everything, even my own life, everything dear to me, my house, my home, my family members, my possessions, all my paraphernalias. Maybe I like my mobile, I like my notebook, I like my table, I like my chair. Everything which is very dear to us, this is actually an expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If we understand things in this way, then we don't have the enjoying mood. We would try to engage everything in Krishna's service. And the next point we like to mention about is, we talk about atyahara and then we talk about prayasas. This means endeavor. Sometimes we are over-endeavoring. There's a very interesting example. When NASA, they want to first send astronauts to the outer space, and they thought of a very practical problem, and they want to solve it. What is the problem? Because under the condition of zero gravity, the ballpoint pens is not working. You cannot write. So they are thinking, how can we invent one kind of pen so we can use it under zero gravity, we can use it upside down, we can write on any surface, even on glass, and we can even write in the water, and we can write in extreme temperatures like below freezing and up to 300 cellulose. And they spend more than 1 decade of time. And the NASA, they spend more than $1 million. But actually there's a very, very simple solution to that. You can just use pencil. Then you save 1 decade of time and you save $1 million. So nowadays people are unnecessarily endeavoring. And this is not only on this, we have many examples. I remember even a few years back, when I go back to my own country, I saw a very prominent place, and they have a board and saying, this is a place to introduce the dog's marriage. This is a very famous office. They said the dogs with a famous pedigree, and then they come, if they want to find like a life partner, and they would provide this kind of service. And then when I went to the supermarket, and there is a section, they're selling furniture for cats. We have to remember, even in 2008, on this planet Earth, 33 countries, mainly from Asia and Africa, they are suffering from starvation. And people are dying, they cannot eat, not mention about enough nutrition. And even in India, back to more than 1 decade ago, every hour 2 farmers would commit suicide. Why? They are in debt because of the weather, the problem, from the climate. They borrowed money from some private loaners, or they're taking a lot of loan from the government bank. They cannot pay back all the seeds they buy and all the fertilizers and the pesticides. So they have a huge debt. What they do, they commit suicide. This is only a decade ago. Nowadays the number would go up, and we are exhausting the resources on this planet Earth, and we are creating high temperature. And according to some scientists, ecologists, they said every 1 degree centigrade, a raise we have like becoming the global warming phenomena. Whenever there's 1 degree centigrade rise in the temperature, and then there will be 10% reduction on the grain production. So every 1 degree of temperature rising equals to 10% less of grain production. In so many countries, they are depending to import grains, food from other countries. This is the economy problem we are facing. And for producing every 1 ton of grains, we need 1,000 tons of water. And for producing every 1 ton of meat, we need 4,000 tons of water. Please think about these numbers. We can divide this English word, number, actually into 2 parts. We can become indifferent to these numbers, and then we really become numbers. We become numbers. We become not sensitive to all the numbers, but these numbers are very much alerting. Very, very much alerting. Then what we do, we are still wasting things. There's one story. This is Satsrup Das Goswami. He's talking about Srila Prabhupada's nectar. And he's quoting from Bhavananda Prabhu about Prabhupada's mood in Mayapur. So Bhavananda Prabhu mentioned, whenever Prabhupada is in Mayapur, he doesn't allow anything to be wasted. Like, for example, if there is a tap, dripping 1 drop of water every 3 hours, and then exactly every time the water drips, Prabhupada would be there and he would be telling the devotees, this is wasting of Krishna's energy. And then another time in Bhaktivedanta manner, Prabhupada is complaining of dripping faucet. So the devotees are looking everywhere. Prabhupada said there is a faucet, it's dripping, it's wasting Krishna's energy. Where is it? They're looking and looking, cannot find it. And finally they found out it is outside of Prabhupada's room. You have to cross a big hall, and then you have to go down a few blocks of small stairs. Then you have to cross a small hall, and then you have to cross another space, and then you go to in a closet. And inside the closet, there is a faucet almost nobody is using, and that faucet is dripping. So devotees are amazed how Prabhupada could find out. How is it possible? He knew about this. So Prabhupada, his mood is not wasting anything, but we are wasting things. I will give a few examples. It's not only we are buying things, that is very gross examples. I will give you some very subtle examples mentioned by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. For example, sometimes we argue unnecessarily. Maybe as devotees we're thinking, oh, I'm not taking any wine, I'm not taking any tobaccos, I'm not taking any intoxicants. So how I'm breaking these four regulatory principles in a subtle way? But yes, because have you ever enjoyed quarreling with other people, other devotee? Sometimes maybe not quarreling, but arguing back and forth, back and forth. But arguing cannot sharpen our intelligence. Arguing, according to Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, can only bring inauspicious results. One would weaken the strength of our mind. Another one is bring us more and more restlessness. So therefore, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he said, if you want to pass your life without any sin, what you will do? You have to talk whatever little is necessary. Whatever little is necessary. This is a way if we want to pass our life without any sin. Otherwise, the mundane talk would only cause birth, death, old age, and disease. It's inauspicious. So this is something we should pay attention to as a practicing devotee. And there are so many points we can mention about this. But it's time for us to become alert. It's time for us to notice if we are not careful, we are killing ourselves, we are ruining our environment. And so I will first put our discussion here. All the devotees, if you have any comments or questions, please raise it. Yes. Mike?
Thank you. I want to beg your pardon beforehand if I found offensive, but I do want to mention to you that this climate hoax is a made-up phenomena to scare the people and control the population, and also concerning food, shortage of food grain. Srila Prabhupada said there is enough food grain actually. So this is all made-up thing. If you are watching mainstream media, you get influenced by their agenda. Second point, so please kindly, I have evidences of what I'm saying, so I can show you if you are interested. So this is all fear-mongering, to instill fear-mongering into the general public. Also, the second point regarding dressing up, buying new gopi skirts to show off in the temple. Actually, the young girls are supposed to dress up. They cannot be dressed up like widows. So not only that, you could see how the gopis were having makeup and bindi dots and all that, and not, you understand? So plus, just imagine these devotees are chanting, they are serving Krishna at every festival. So maybe I'm wrong, but yes, you may have your point, but actually I disagree on this, that young girls should actually dress up, and I don't think it's wrong. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for your comments. So I will say something in responding your comments. First of all, this global warming and the food shortage. In one sense, Srila Prabhupada said yes. Actually, the food can be produced by the earth. That will be enough for everyone. But because nowadays, people are not so dharmic, they're not following religious principles. That's why there's not enough rainfall. Even in Prabhupada's time, Prabhupada mentioned, he said, when I was traveling, I'm coming from Europe, and then I'm coming to UK, I saw everywhere, even the grass is not green, everywhere is brown, the land is parched. So there's not enough rainfall. So even back in the 70s, even UK is considering of exporting water from other countries. And also we know there are so many countries, they have to import foods. So we cannot say there's enough for everyone. About the global warming, we can see from a few pictures. In the internet, people are very proud because they are catching the photos of near the North Pole, near the South Pole, the glaciers are melting. And before there's like grass, like Iceland. Nowadays there are growing flowers. The flowers are blossoming. They say, "Oh, please look at it. It's so beautiful." But what does it mean? That means some very, very ancient virus, fungus, before it was frozen in those places, now also got a chance to spread. And then where all those melted water going? They go to the sea, and the sea level is going up. So it's not very useful. We just indulge in the details. We just mentioned what Srila Prabhupada said. Prabhupada said there will be food shortage and there's no rain because people are not performing yagya. And for the last point, gopi dress, I really appreciate your point. The young girls should not be dressing like widows. So that means everything should have a limitation. Without limit, nothing can be achieved. Nowadays, to participate in sinful activities, if we have money, we can buy all these sinful activities in a very cheap way. But that doesn't mean that is right. I remember a few years back, His Holiness Bhaktivedanta Maharaj, he mentioned the dressing code about young ladies. He said married ladies, they can dress as much opulent as they can, but especially for the unmarried girls, they cannot dress too much in a very attractive way, because we can see sometimes that the parts, we put it in this way. We can say they're very economical in using the cloth. So in that way, they're attracting unnecessary attention on themselves from especially the opposite sex. And if we want to be the center of attention, according to Srila Sanatana Goswami, he mentioned in Hari Bhakti Vilas, he said, actually, this is the worst anarthas. We want fame. We want to attract other people's attention. This is the root of all the anarthas. Hare Krishna. Yes, please.
Thank you, Mataji, for a nice class. Mataji, in the Purport, the first line, thus the age of Kali began with the gold standardization. So what is the meaning of gold standardization? Please explain.
Hare Krishna. Gold standardization means we trade by gold. We use gold as a measurement, as the method of measurement, and we are doing our business. So we pay by gold. But nowadays, why we have the problem with inflation? Because we are using the printed papers. So that's why actually the papers and the gold should be in equal value. But now some rich countries, in order to exploitation, they're doing exploitation to other countries. They unlimitedly print out papers. So that's why it caused a global inflation problem. Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhuji, from the behind.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you for the nice class. You mentioned that the Supreme Lord expands in 3 different ways, through his body, mind, and spiritually. Could you please give one example for each of them?
Hare Krishna. So, very easy to understand the bodily expansions, because whenever the Lord incarnates, and all his incarnations, they perform certain functions, that is to please his pure devotees. So he expands himself bodily to make us happy. And then he expands himself mentally. So he can expand himself as the mental power. And in our hearts, we know the super soul gives us the discretion of what is right, what is wrong. Where that comes from? That is come from the super soul. Super soul, Chiradakshai Vishnu, he's an expansion of Garbhodakshai Vishnu. Garbhodakshai Vishnu coming from Karanodakshai Vishnu, coming from the 4 Chaturvyuha, and then goes up to the first session of Chaturvyuha, and then back to Balaram, back to Krishna. So in this way, the mental power, mentally, he exists in our mind and help us to know what is right, what is wrong, how to achieve auspiciousness, how to achieve goodness in our life in this way. And then spiritually, Krishna expands spiritually. Whenever we are doing kirtan, we are reading the books, we feel Krishna's existence. Actually, Srila Rupa Goswami, it is mentioned he has a special function to perform. His function is to establish Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mood and mission and desire. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission, mood and desire is to spread the holy name all over the country, all over the globe, to every town and village. So Srila Rupa Goswami said, he has a very unprecedented glorification to the holy name. He said, whenever I try to chant the holy name, I realize how much nectar in these two syllables, Krish and Na. And so when we chant Krishna's holy name, the tongue, Krishna is dancing in our tongue. And then we want to have many millions of mouths. And then when we hear the sound vibration of Krishna, and then we wish we have millions of years. And when Krishna is dancing in the courtyard of our hearts, and our hearts become so happy, all our other senses becomes inert. Our other material desires become pacified. And when Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw this description by Srila Rupa Goswami in his Vidagdha Madhava, it's a description of Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan. Mahaprabhu is very, very happy in ecstasy. So when we are chanting, even as a neophyte devotees, we chant and we feel happy. So that is something spiritual. Chanting Hare Krishna is never material. So Krishna is expanding himself. And such examples can be elaborated more and more. For example, even Mahaprasadam, even the devotees Sangha, that taste is also Krishna expansion spiritually. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Gaura Pramanande Hari Hari Bo. Hare Krishna.